My analysis on the novelette Sunset on Ramree. Sunset on Ramree by Robert Appleton is a novelette. The entitlement of the Epic ebook award to the book in 2011 is testimony to its good quality. The story is set on 2 days, 19th February 1945, that night and the following morning. Despite its short period, it is stunningly beautiful with the detailed depictions of incidents taking place during those 2 days that keep the readers with a palpitating heart. The whole story is filled with excitements. Should I be asked about the most exciting plots, they will be that of Cody's accidental killing of the sergeant due to the latter's firm order for the former to unite again urgently with the soldiers marching ahead of them, that of Sobiku being snatched by a crocodile, that of tension between the two sides, Ojihoro and Kasumoto, and of their pointing at one another with guns. That of Nakadai and Cody trying to get out of the swamp infested with crocodiles while feeding the animals with the severed hands and thighs that they had gathered. And finally, that of Nakadai and his friend walking slowly in suspense towards the forest by the coast in order to surrender. These plots would make the audience in suspense if they were part of a thriller movie. In fact, the condition of the Japanese soldiers who came face to face not with human enemies but with those of crocodiles during the Second World War were at war with nature. During that war, they had to kill one another among themselves for their precious lives. While defending the hated person, they happened to kill their loved one. Unavoidably, they chanced to stay with the person they loathed. Despite their willingness to save the one they loved, the nature didn't allow them to do so. In fact, they did not have any opportunity to opt for. The nature rightly prevailed. In accordance with the findings by Charles Darwin, it was in fact a vivid reflection of survival of the fittest, the law of the jungle. However, it can be seen that Nakadai and Cody did not fall prey to the crocodiles because of their intellectual supremacy to the animals, despite their inferiority in terms of physical strength. Deeply thought, the story not only reveals the nature of the world and its people, but it also teaches us lessons. We can overcome obstacles, however big, with a firm determination and wisdom, and we should do so boldly. Probably, the crocodile attack on Ramree Island has made tourists form a horrifying opinion of the island and kept them from visiting it. Although mass crocodile attack happened on the island only that time, and it has been rarely heard for years that there was any death associated with crocodile attack. One can find various kinds of record videos on the internet which rank the island as the second, the third, or the fourth out of 10 most dangerous islands in the world. It is absolutely true that such videos seem to scare the potential tourists away. Nevertheless, it is also a fact that the historic incidents of the crocodile attack make many world citizens recount to one another longingly. It is also evident that the novelette Sunset on Ramree, written by Robert Appleton, will be one of the world classic books till many years in the future. Personally speaking, I wish I saw this novelette as a world famous movie. However, my wish has not yet been fulfilled. Now, I am just praying for the appearance of a person who would turn the story into a movie. My analysis on the novel The Mangroves. John C. Campbell, the American writer, is a highly successful ghost story writer. The horror story named Omega Days, which was issued in 2013, presented him with overnight success, and nowadays it is so successful that its fourth sequel is about to be issued. It can be said that Campbell, who is outstanding at writing ghost stories, could create highly exciting plots of this story with his exceptional writing ability. Although there is a detailed description of the incidents that took place during the 3 days from 19th to 21st February 1985, the novel would enchant the readers to read on to the end because of its good writing and interesting plots. The novelist was able to write this intriguing novel, so much so that it looks as if the Japanese soldiers who had passed wearingly through the mangrove swamps infested with the centipedes, scorpions, and crocodiles over days and nights, even amidst the bombings from the British fighter jets and the shelling from the warships, were deep inside the hell. This novel was written from the viewpoint of a Japanese lieutenant named Shoji. It could vividly describe Lieutenant Shoji's nature of accountability and his good leadership. In addition, it could also illustrate his noble might by his will not to harm others, and that, near the end of the story, he worriedly won. Even his enemy, the British soldier, who was pointing at him with a rifle of a crocodile approaching. At some points, the novel makes the readers feel as if they were watching a horror movie, mentioning how frightful Shoji is to happen to come face to face with a giant yellow-striped tiger before continuing to describe the caterpillar attack made me as a reader imagine the caterpillar as a giant tiger in my mind's eyes. So good are the reader's reviews under the book description on Amazon.com, where it can be bought. One of the readers commented that it is the best of all the novels based on the Crocodile Attack on Ramree Island during the Second World War that he has ever read. Another opined that it was not boring despite the author's continuous description of incidents in it. One of the reviewers said that while reading the novel, he was expecting and praying for the inclusion of Lieutenant Shoji among some 20 survivors, however harsh obstacles the Japanese soldiers had to experience. Similarly, while reading it, I was also praying that Lieutenant Shoji would survive at last. Another reviewer noted that the novel had encouraged him to study more about the incident of the crocodile attack after reading it. Surprisingly, several readers bitterly commented that after reading it, they would never ever visit the horrifying Ramree Island. The articles on the novels presented so far are about those novels by famous international novelists based on the deadliest crocodile attack on Ramree Island that I have ever known. In my analysis on the novelette Sunset on Ramree, I mentioned that Ramree Island has been regarded as the second or third most dangerous island in the world because of its deadliest crocodile attack during the Second World War. Such ranking of the island as one of the most horrifying islands may be attributed to its inclusion in Guinness Book of Records as most number of fatalities in a crocodile attack, and to the side effects of the world-famous writers' creations of novels based on that incident. Therefore, Ramree Island may have been an intentional exception of their destinations to those tourists who visit Myanmar. Hardly are they informed of the fact that it has been several decades since crocodiles were last seen on Ramree Island, and nor are they visible to the beauty of the beaches on Ramree Island, including Chao Phrue Beach. Hence, everybody interested should try their best so that foreigners will know their real truths nowadays and turn their frightful opinion of Ramree Island into that of an island which is lovely and worthy of visits. As a result of such right viewpoints towards the island, many tourists and the visitors from other parts of Myanmar will be interested in visiting there. With the development of tourism industry in that area, I believe that there will also be considerable regional development. Further, I am also convinced that it would be highly interesting and beneficial if relevant scholars, for example zoologists, could implement field studies in those areas which were assumed to be the ground for the said crocodile attack in order to identify the causes for the rarity of crocodiles nowadays, despite their abundance on Ramree Island several decades ago, and then present the research findings to the world. In my introduction to this long article, I presented the piece of news saying that a Hollywood film company would come to Myanmar for making a documentary on the historic crocodile attack. Similarly, I am wondering how nice it would be if a world-renowned film company made a movie out of this very novel. I wish my dream would come true very soon. Anyway, I am truly glad that I will be able to watch a documentary on this historic incident in near future.